Welcome into the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester for the WNBL D2 Women's Final. It's the Manchester Mystics taking on the Sheffield Hatters, Darren Paul and Kaz Bullock. I'm going to take you through all the pre-game information. Kaz, it's finally nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too, Darren. It's been a long time coming.
It's been a long journey. Before we get into fully underway with this game, we've got to just talk about, of course, Betty Codona, OBE, and the impact that she has had on our sport and the sport of women's basketball.
Yeah, an absolute legend of the game. Has done so much for basketball, for women's basketball, so much for the Sheffield Hatters team as well. Founder of the club, it's their 60th anniversary this year, and she'll be sadly missed, but her legacy is going to live on.
The legacy is going to live on. We're going to see a fantastic game between when I think of rivalries in British basketball, I think Manchester, I think Sheffield, I think Cross-Pennine. Kaz, what about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I think they're two of the teams that stick out, don't they? And it's been tough matchups every time these teams have met, whether it's in the women's game, in the men's game, different division levels. So it's going to be a very exciting matchup today.
So we're going to take a look at, I suppose, the home side. Manchester Mystics first up. Of course, Kaz, you've had the pleasure of commentating them this season. Just generally talk about their game, their season. What have you seen from them?
Yeah, so this is their first season back in Division 2 for about, I think, 15 years. 2005-2006 was their last Division 2 season. They only won one game that season. They've had a complete overhaul and they're looking really, really good. They finished with the 3 seed in the north. They lost 5 games all season, 2 to Sheffield that they played today, 2 to Stockport and 1 to Nottingham. Now, they've got some really, really talented young players on this team. This is a very young team. They've got Charlie Rowe, who's just played for England in the Four Nations tournament just about 10 days ago, along with Josephine Boliotis. And players like Maddie Owen, Neve Kelshaw, and Becky Bellis. They've got, they can run this team.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about Charlie Rowe, of course, and what performance she put in against the Stockport Lapwings. Now, you mentioned that the losses in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the favourite coming into the playoffs without a question, and they knocked them out 68-71, and you're going to tell us how they did it.
So they lost to Stockport, as you say, in the season, but they beat them when it mattered in the semi-final in Stockport. They beat them by 3. Charlie Rowe hits an and 1 with 4 seconds to go in the game. She was huge in that game, 22 points, and I'm expecting to see her do something similar today. She really is a leader on this team.
And of course, yeah, like you said, England under 18, you were down there with them in Cardiff. What did you see from her game representing England?
She is a player with such confidence as well. She's 18 years old. She averaged 12 points a game throughout the tournament, and she just has such incredible footwork for a young player. And I say this constantly, but Charlie Rowe's footwork is exceptional. She's a player that can shoot the 3, and she's also very much enjoys getting out in transition. So she's a dangerous player.
Thinking about that semi-final against the Lapwings, they took the final quarter 14-21. Do you think we're going to see something similar here today, where Manchester Mystics, if they want to really establish themselves in the game, it might be a little bit later?
Yeah, I think so. They've had a couple of games where they have started a little bit slow to start in the regular season, and they've been able to get back on track with that. So they're not really going to want that to happen, but they are a team that is capable of coming back. What they need to do, and that they're going to need to come out strong with, is their defence, and they're going to really need to stop Sheffield taking out a lead to start with.
We've spoken a lot about Charlie Rowe, and rightly so. You mentioned a couple of other names. One that stands out to me, Becky Hardwood-Bellis, of course, won the D1 League and Playoff Championship last season with Ipswich, now plying her trade back home in Manchester for the Mystics. what have you seen from her this season, and what is going to be seen today?
So she's been crucial to the team as well, has Becky Bellis. Her defence is incredible. She's one of those players, and she might not end up scoring loads in the game, but her defence is one of those players that's going to stop the other team, and it's going to make it really difficult for them to score. It might not show up on the stat sheet, but she's going to make it really difficult for Sheffield to score on defence.
We're about to introduce both sides, but we're going to roll on through. We've got to talk about them, the Sheffield Hatters, second in D2 North, a 13-3 record, 14-time D1 champions. I mean, the list of accolades goes on and on.
Yeah, Sheffield are a really, really experienced team as well, players with a lot of WBBL experience as well, a lot of veteran players. We've got the first WBBL MVP in Steph Gandy who plays for them, and these players have a lot of experience on the Hatters team in the WBBL.
And of course, Cooney, Naylor, D2 Player of the Year.
Yeah, and she has been huge for Sheffield. She's averaging 22 points a game this season, and in the two matchups against the Mystics earlier in the season, she was big for Sheffield. So she is going to come out firing, and the Mystics will need to look to try and close her down.
Yeah, she had 27 points in the win back in February. Her season high, 34 points. She is going to be intense today. You just know it. And you've mentioned already Steph Gandy, 14-15 WBBL MVP. That is some serious talent we're talking about right now.
It is, and a lot of experience. They've been here, they've been to finals. They know what it takes to win in these situations. So it's really a kind of matchup against like a veteran team and a young sort of underdog team.
Is there anybody else that really stands out for you from the Hatters?
Lisa Riches as well, a fantastic player. She's the British all-time leader in assists for Division 1. She's going to be really integral to this team as well.
Yeah, she had 12 points in the semi-final victory, and of course captains this side. And I mean, a journey they've been on to get to this final. Took down Solent 2's 75-44 in the first quarter final, and they started that game hot. It was done at half-time, 48-20, and then we had some great performances. Gandy came up with 20.
Yeah, and that's how Sheffield like to play. They're going to come out fast, they're going to score a lot, they're going to be able to get inside, and they're going to be a high-volume, high-scoring team.
And then they took down Brent Bulls, again, one of the teams that people really fancied to be here. I think, these are both a bit of an upset. As we are going to go for it. 24-second applause for Betty Codona. So we're going to send up to that right now.
And today, of course, we acknowledge the very... Ladies and gentlemen, school of the games inspired so many here to play, and many of the teammates are also playing here today. And we're going to acknowledge her with a 24-second round of applause.
Welcome back inside the National Basketball Performance Centre. Darren Paul alongside Kaz Bullock, just finishing up the pre-game show. So Sheffield, I mean, we can see what today means to them. It means the absolute world to them. Is that going to be what takes them over the edge with Manchester today?
I think it's definitely an extra bit of motivation for them, isn't it? They want to continue Betty's legacy, and they want to, they've got a point to prove all season as well. So I think it's definitely going to give them that extra motivation.
And what's the key for Manchester? What do they need to really hone in on to take them where they want to be?
They need to play the game that's got them here. They need to keep playing well in transition. They need to play the tough defence that they're known for, and they need to try and stop Sarah Cooney.
That's going to be a lot easier said than done. We are going to throw over to our match commentators. Well, you need to get over there, Kaz Bullock. But first, John Holtz.
Thank you, Darren. The Division 2 women are up next, and like goodness me, they've got a tough act to follow after the Division 3 men's final we have just witnessed. We've just about caught our breath. here on the commentary box, and I'm sure maybe you guys at home that have watched the action so far, as Caroline Bullock has now joined me on commentary. Caroline, welcome, and it's a fairy tale story for the Manchester Mystics, a young team coming up against probably the most veteran team, not just in the WNBL Division Two, but in WNBL right now, isn't it? It's a very clash of different styles between the Mystics and the Hatters.
Absolutely, it definitely is. Yeah, this is going to be a really exciting game. We've got a team that like to run fast in transition against a team that like to score inside. And I think, like you say, experience against like a youthful underdog, and I think it makes for a very exciting matchup. Almost a similar series to the one that we saw in January when we saw Stockport take on Solent. So Manchester, I think they're going to be playing with not a lot of pressure, which really helps. They're the underdogs. People probably didn't expect them to get here. They probably didn't expect them to beat Stockport in the semi-final, and they are here. And that kind of lack of pressure allows you to play a lot freer.
Absolutely. So we'll just go to the starting fives very quickly. We must say, I have mentioned it on the YouTube feed, but we are having issues with our score graphics. So myself and Kaz will update you as frequently as we can. So apologies for that, everybody. So starting fives for today's game, starting with the Manchester Mystics. They'll be rolling with Charlie Rowe, Lucy Threlfall, Niamh Kelshaw, Becky Harwood-Bellis and Holly Bryan. It's a good starting lineup. Charlie Rowe inserted into the starting lineup, one of the leaders of this team, and Niamh Kelshaw, a former Newcastle Eagles player, a lot of experience there.
Yeah, Charlie's been absolutely fantastic this season, and she's playing in the Four Nations tournament about 10 days ago. Had a really strong tournament there, and it's great to see her into the lineup here. Like you say, Niamh Kelshaw, that brings that WBBL experience. Holly Bryan has it as well from playing with the Manchester Mystics a few seasons ago, and just being able to play at that level and bring that experience that you've learned into the team is so valuable.
And for the Sheffield Hatters, they're going with Jess Southwall, Bria Allen, Sarah Cooney, Lisa Riches and Stephanie Gandy. And for Sheffield, a fantastic 24 seconds of applause for the late great Betty Codona, OBE. For Sheffield, what a fantastic opportunity it is for them to honour the great woman herself with a win here today.
It absolutely is, and you know that they'll be wanting that to take home the title and continue Betty's legacy.
Getting ready for the tip, number 15, legend of the Sheffield.
So Sheffield in black, Manchester in blue to start us off. Of course, after this game at 6 o'clock will be the Manchester Magic against the Solent Kestrels 2. As we're just having a few technical issues at the moment. I think we're also having some team sheet issues on the table. Unfortunately, our score graphics are down, so me and Kaz will try and update you as frequently as we can. That's what happens when you have a bottle of water and you're just about to burn. It happens, okay? It's human nature. Either way, we are underway here in Manchester. The hometown Mystics, it must be said, and they are the designated home team in this game as well.
Arrow possession. No possession was actually claimed. So we'll take a look, sure which way to
it will be a jump ball once more, as the possession arrow was not actually claimed by both teams. So Becky Harwood-Bellis and Steph Gandy will jump it up one more time. And this time the Hatters get possession with Riches. To Jamieson, who's actually into the starting lineup. And Jamieson misses the layup. I think that's what the confusion was over, actually, because we thought that Jess Southwall was starting, but she's not. And Lisa Riches with the foul. It was Charlie Rowe who fouled Lisa Riches.
A bit of an early foul for the Mystics there. You don't want Charlie to get into foul trouble at all.
Gandy inside. Gandy partially blocked. And Threlfall came up with it. Here is Shaw. or Kelshaw, excuse me. And Kelshaw off with her too, and here's Riches. Cooney, cross-court pass, and the two rattles around and goes in for Bria Allen. And the Hatters off the mark. Of course, Sheffield Hatters claiming the league double over the Manchester Mystics in the regular season as Charlie Rowe misses the layup, and away comes Lisa Riches. Riches going inside, and Cooney gets the loose ball. So far the Hatters lead 2-0. Here is Jamieson, back to Cooney. 3 on the shot clock. Riches, and the ball gets stuck on the backboard. Ray Aquafury shouting wedgie as that was going up.
And Manchester have done a really good job this season of putting some really tough pressure defence on. You see it there as they're running the shot clock down, and that's what they're going to need to do and keep the pressure on Sheffield defensively.
And I think, if I'm not mistaken though, Ray Aquafury was actually volunteering his services. He's so desperate to get onto the court. But the referees are deciding, no, I've got another ball here, I've got this. Well, at least they think they do anyway. There it is.
Got no jump shot though. Here's a baseline possession.
Of course, Sheffield Hatters finishing second in Division 2 North this season with a 13-3 record. Manchester Mystics finishing third with an 11-5 mark, but the Mystics sealing their final place with a big win over the conference champions Stockport Lapwings and National Cup winners as well. As Gandy comes up with the loose ball, and now in transition Sheffield look to break, but it was almost a broken play. Allen has it, and Riches can reset. Gandy inside with the left hand, and the Hatters are now in a 4-0 lead.
And that is what's going to be really tough for the Mystics to stop. Stephanie Gandy inside could do that all day long, so they really need to get on her and close her down.
Kelshaw. Inside was Brian, no good. And here comes Lisa Riches. Lisa Riches, ball fake for Lisa Riches, gets it to go, and a quick timeout has been called by the Manchester Mystics. Almost a carbon copy of what happened when these two teams played at the Manchester Basketball Centre earlier in the season. Sheffield getting out to a very good start, and they're 6-0 to the good here. Yeah,
Sheffield able to get out to a quick lead. I think the Mystics just need to calm things down a little bit, just play the way that they have done that's got them here. They can trust in their defence. They have a really, really tough defence, and they're able to score from outside and go inside. They will find it difficult going inside, as Sheffield are a more physical team than them, so they might want to step back a bit, try some of their three-point shots, but when that gap's open, Charlie Rowe can drive to the basket.
Absolutely, and for Sheffield, a quick start, but probably the most, as we mentioned at the top of the show, probably one of the most veteran teams in the WNBL period, and showing their veteranship here right now. Just composed offences, not letting the occasion get to them, and just picking their right shots.
Yeah, they've got a lot of players that have been in a lot of finals, and as you say, a very veteran team. They know what it's like to be here, and they know what it takes to win. So they're just playing, their game. They're playing how they know to play.
22 league titles and 17 playoff championships for the Sheffield Hatters in the National Basketball League and the English Basketball League, if you want to really get detailed with it. Kelshaw, Rowe. And good deflection there from the Hatters. A 3 on the way, and that's no good for Threlfall, who has a good three-point shot, especially at the top of the key, but no good from the baseline. Here is Riches. Composed offense from the Hatters. Here is Gandy. Muscling her way inside, and Steph Gandy will go to the foul line. And Steph Gandy, a player who's spent her entire career with the Sheffield Hatters, and just so instrumental in the team's success and everything that Betty Codona wanted in a player.
Yeah, and absolutely, you know, a Sheffield legend, a GB legend. She's played for GB in Eurobasket. She's played for the Division 1 Hatters, the WBBL Hatters. She was the MVP of the WBBL in 2014 and 15. You know, she's done everything.
And while the London Lions picked up their first ever WBBL championship last night with their win over the Essex Rebels in the WBBL's first season, back in the 2014-15 season, Steph Gandy averaged 21 points a game, getting it done when the WBBL was making its baby steps towards the professional league we see before us today. Here is Rowe. Kelshaw, who of course started the season with the Newcastle Eagles. Inside it goes to Hannah Rolty, misses the layup. And Riches comes up with it. 8-0 to the Hatters. And thought that was good defense there.
Yeah, I thought she just got a hand on that one. And I think once the Mystics make that first basket, once the ball goes through the net, it's just going to give them the confidence when then the shots will start to drop. They just need to get that first one in and carry on playing.
It's a first foul on Rebecca Illingworth. And Steph Gandy back to the line for the Hatters, who lead 8-0, as you see on the YouTube screen. I put a message just at the top there. Apologies, we've lost our score graphics. We'll hope to get them back as soon as we can, but we'll keep you updated with the scores as much as we can. Here is Cooney. 9 on the shot clock. Inside, the open lady is Steph Gandy. Beautiful play from the Hatters, and it's 10-0 to Sheffield.
Now, we saw in the Stockport game in the semi-final, the Mystics were down by 10, and they were able to make that comeback and then come away with the win in the end. So I don't think this will faze them. Like I said, you just need to get that first basket, get those first points on the board, and then it'll start to come.
That's a first foul on Lisa Riches, who has 2 points right now. Steph Gandy leading all scorers with 6. There's only been 3 scorers so far. Kelshaw looking for Olty, finds her. Hannah Olty puts in a 2, and that's just the lift that Manchester Mystics needed. And good defense there from Hannah Olty as well, and it's a Manchester Mystics ball.
And that's great veteran leadership from Hannah Olty as well. She's the assistant coach of the under-16 Mystics team as well. She's got a wealth of experience that she brings to this team, and you can see it in those 2 plays just there. And
also as well, the club's resident DJ, apparently on the trip back from West Hertfordshire following their quarter-final win. She was the DJ on the bus, and that's around a 3.5-hour trip back to Manchester, so the tunes must have been all over the place when she was on the decks. But such a great team player, Hannah Olty, and Coach Atkinson refers to her as the mum of the group, but I won't go any more further on that, as Charlie Rowe, one of the younger Mystic players, has the ball, and here is Illingworth, gets a 2. That's back-to-back scores for the Mystics.
And that was a really tough shot from Illingworth as well, from the corner.
Jamieson thought about the 2. Instead gives it up to an open Sarah Cooney, who had 27 points when these 2 teams last met, and now has her first field goal of the day. Here is Rowe, lost the ball but gets it back. Bit of room for Charlie Rowe, and that's money.
And Charlie Rowe all season long has been doing that. She can hit the 3 and she can drive inside. She's a really tough player to stop when she gets going.
Riches. Cooney. And a travel has been called, or in fact she stepped out of bounds, excuse me. And some much needed respite here for the Mystics, just starting to get into a little bit of rhythm after the fast start from Sheffield.
Yeah, you know, they've done a really great job to be here, and they need to have the confidence that, yes, they can compete against this Sheffield team. The regular season, they've lost to them twice, but finals, it's a whole different beast.
Kelshaw, cross part, and a 3-pointer is good. That's Becky Harwood-Bellis from downtown, and it's a 1-possession game more than halfway through the first period. Riches inside to Jamieson, blocked by Harwood-Bellis, but a foul has been called. Great look there from Riches. And that's a first foul on Becky Harwood-Bellis. She will actually take a seat. In fact, that's a second foul on Harwood-Bellis. She'll take a seat. As Leah Toland comes into the game for the first time, and Jamieson, a Glaswegian by heart, to the line for the Hatters, as the Hatters restore their 2-possession advantage. So far, though, it's been a game where the Hatters started quickly, and then all of a sudden the Mystics found their rhythm, and now it's almost like a game of chess in the early going.
I think we're going to see a real back and forth game today, and I think it's going to come down to who can close out in the fourth. And for me, if the Mystics are going to win this, they're going to need to rely on their transition their transition play, their defence, and the three-point shot, which is what they've been doing so well to come back with this. They've been able to hit those threes and play some tough D.
15-10 in favour of the Sheffield Hatters with 4:14 remaining. Riches, Cooney, looks for Gandy, but nothing doing, and here come the Mystics with Ulti. And a foul called as Illingworth was looking to break, and Riches met her as she caught the ball.
And Lilia Toland did a fantastic job there, getting into the passing lane and stealing that ball away.
Kelshaw. Inside it goes to Illingworth, and Illingworth with 4 quick points. Cooney, or excuse me, that's Allen for 3, and she's good for 3. Bria Allen from downtown, and the Hatters lead 17-12. Here is Rowe. Rowe driving at Cooney, blocked by Sarah Cooney. And here comes Lisa Richards. Riches inside to Gandy, lays it in off the glass. And this time it's a run from the Hatters.
And Steph Gandy is such a tough player to stop inside.
Kelshaw is way off with her 2. Illingworth looked to keep it in bounds, and Riches comes up with the loose ball. Riches on the spin, gets it to go. Great period of basketball this from the Hatters. They lead by 9. Here is Kelshaw at the other end. Kelshaw looks for Tolan. Here is Ulti. Ulti looking for Rowe, and Rowe just about keeps it in. 8 on the shot clock. Charlie Rowe, the lefty, and that's good. And a quick timeout has been called by Coach Garnet Gale. He wants to just pull his Hatters in and just have a quick word. But Mystics staying in this, but it was a good spell that from the Sheffield Hatters.
Yeah, it was a really, really good spell, and you can see that's the experience of this team, and they know how to play. They know what to do, how to counter when there's a team's going on a run. You know, they've not lost their composure. They've just gone, okay, that's fine. They've gone on a bit of a run. We'll just come back and we'll go on a run ourselves.
21-14 with 2:44 left in the first period, and we'll be talking about the award winners for Division 2 women at halftime, but we can't obviously go without just saying how amazing it is that we've got Sarah Cooney, the Division 2 North Player of the Year, playing in this final. What a season she has had for the Sheffield Hatters, and just testament to how she's played throughout her career.
Yeah, she's been fantastic all season, and she's such an important part of this team. Just a fantastic player. Again, another player with so much experience, and well-deserved D2 North Player of the Year. 22 points per game. She had a season high of 34. You know, she's won at different levels, and just such a great player to be able to see playing this game.
Absolutely, an 85% free throw shooter in a 3 seasons in the WBBL, and was a good 3-point shooter in that spell as well. An ex-Great Britain international. Actually scored 8 of Sheffield's first 12 points in that win at the Manchester Basketball Centre earlier in the season. Not as much so far at the moment, as Steph Gandy has taken on that mantle. She leads all scorers with 8 right now. Here is Jess Southwell into the game for the first time, who was originally in the starting lineup. I think there must have been a last-minute change to that as Richards misses her elbow jumper. Illingworth inside to Rowe. Beautiful move from Charlie Rowe, who led the Mystics with 21 points at the Manchester Basketball Centre. Actually started that game on the bench due to missing some time in training. And as a result of that, actually started the game on the bench as Anne Zammit into the game for the first time, and she's going to go to the foul line.
Substitution checking into the game for the Manchester Mystics, number 13, Josephine Voloraitis.
As Josephine Voloraitis comes into the game for the first time, and alongside Charlie Rowe, a England junior international, actually competed in that Four Nations tournament last week in Cardiff, and sharing the floor with the Mystics number 5 right now. And here is Rowe on the ball now.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really valuable experience for them both as well. And these are 2 players that have played very recently, whereas everyone else has had a couple of weeks off.
And they linked up there, but Voloraitis was off with her 3. Here is Rowe. 8 to shoot. And a swarm of Sheffield players collecting that loose ball. Here is Richards. Southwell is open, but she looks to Gandy from the elbow, and Gandy will make that every time. 23-16 in favour of the Hatters with 1:34 remaining in the first. As Rowe goes glass and a foul has been called. And the Mystics are actually in the penalty right now, and Sheffield close as well, as Anne Zammit is called for the foul. That's her first. But we talk about, Charlie Rowe, and speaking to Coach David Atkinson earlier in the week, and just so proud of how this player, how Charlie has progressed as the season has come along, and even at her age showing herself to be such a mature leader to this Mystics team, but also taking great advice from veterans such as Hannah Rolty and Neve Kelshaw.
Yeah, she's been fantastic all season as Charlie. She plays so much basketball as well. She's been playing in the WEABL. She's had some time with the WBBL Mystics earlier in the season as well.
Now Steph Gandy makes a short 2, and it's a 9-point lead for the Hatters, 25-16 with 1:10 remaining. Voloraitis stripped by Zammit. Olty comes up with it. Still a lot of time on the shot clock. Here is Rowe. Putting the moves on Cooney and Zammit, and a foul has been called. I think that's on Zammit again. That's her second foul. So 2 quick fouls for Anne Zammit off the bench.
And Charlie's a player that does a really good job of being able to draw the contacts on the foul when she's driving to the basket, because she's quite usually one of the smaller players on the court as well. So she can get knocked a little bit.
Or such a tough player to guard, especially being a left-handed player as well. And it's always that little more difficult for right-handed defenders. As Charlie Rowe misses the first free throw. As Rukiat Youssef comes into the game for the first time for the Mystics, number 15. And Rowe will take a seat, and Neve Kelshaw will come back in. And a player who, Neve Kelshaw, who settled into the Mystics team following her departure from the Eagles, and has really become the all-round team contributor to the Manchester Mystics in both games and in training.
Yeah, she really has, and she's, again, that experience through WBBL and playing for the Eagles, well, she brings that back to the Mystics team, and she's able to provide such a great perspective for this team.
It'll be a Mystics ball, as Gandy missed everything with her baseline jump. 33.4 seconds remaining, and the Hatters lead 25-17, but still life with the Mystics yet. They can go 2 for 1 if they wanted to. Here is Youssef. Back to Toland. Toland driving inside, finds Voleritis. On the turnaround, Ulti misses everything. Youssef and Gandy battling for it. Shot clock down to 3. Riches comes up with it. Heaves a long three-pointer. There was still 7.4 seconds left on the shot clock as she has a little joke with Ann Zammit about that. Final seconds of the quarter. Here's Kelshaw. Toland wide open 3, and that's off. And that ends the first quarter of our WNBL Division Two playoff final. And the Sheffield Hatters lead 25-17 over the Manchester Mystics. Steph Gandy leading all scorers with 12.
Yeah, Sheffield doing a fantastic job showing their experience. Steph Gandy, 12 points inside. She is so tough to stop. 71% from the field. She's been able to get to the line as well. So the Mystics are going to need to try and look to close her down, force other players to shoot, which is difficult when you have players like Sarah Cooney and Lisa Riches. But that would be what they probably want to look to do. Go inside, try and stop Steph Gandy. It hasn't helped having Becky Hardwood-Bellis on the bench for the last few minutes as well, because she's such a presence inside. But I'd put, Hannah Ulti down there, maybe double Gandy, and try and force the outside shot.
As you see highlights there was the 3 from Bria Allen. As the Sheffield Hatters, who've shot the ball quite well in this first quarter. It's all about patient offense for them. They're shooting 58% from the field, 10 for 17. As the Mystics not shooting bad themselves, 7 for 16, 43% so far. As you see Garnet Gale himself, a National Basketball League winner with the City of Sheffield Arrows back in the early 2000s, playing alongside some true greats of the British basketball scene from that period.
Yeah, you look over at the Sheffield team and it's just sort of British basketball legend after British basketball legend.
Absolutely, yeah. So many Great Britain internationals and National League winners, WBBL winners, all on that Sheffield Hatters team.
And I think the exciting thing is as well, we're going to see some future GB stars, some future British stars on this Mystics team as well.
Absolutely. There's Becky Harwood-Bellis coming back into the game on 2 fouls, as Lucy Threlfall will take the ball, a product of the Charnwood Academy. Actually played Division 1 for the Loughborough Riders back in 2018 and 19 season. Here she is on the ball right now.
Had some JUCO experience as well in Jacksonville.
Harwood-Bellis bumps Zammit, and a foul has been called again on Ann Zammit. That's 3 quick fouls for Ann Zammit.
And Sheffield's with a bit of a shorter roster today as well. They probably don't want to have anyone get into foul trouble.
Absolutely. Of course, Manchester Mystics missing Maddie Owen today as well. And again, speaking to Coach Atkinson earlier in the week, and such an enthusiastic presence on and off the bench. Maddie Owen, and a great communicator, especially on the offensive side, as Becky Harwood-Bellis, who was, despite beating the Stockport Lapwings, was really disappointed with her defensive assignment, apparently, against Jade Butters, who dropped 30 points in that game. And even though the Mystics got the job done, got the win, she was still really upset. And that just shows the competitive nature that Becky Harwood-Bellis has.
Absolutely, and she knows how strong she can be on defense, and she knows what she can do to stop players. 25-19 to the Sheffield Hatters. Here is Cooney looking for Gandy. Good defense there from Youssef. And a much-needed stop for the Mystics. Voleritis. Cross-court pass to Harwood-Bellis. Harwood-Bellis running into trouble. She steps out of bounds just before she kicked it out to Youssef. And that was some great D from the Mystics. They just need to convert on the other end, which sounds very simple. But this is a Sheffield team that you really need to capitalise if a mistake is made.
Well, so far the Mystics have scored 7 points from turnovers. Here is Harwood-Bellis, misses the layup, and Southall comes up with the loose ball. Here is Jamieson, Gandy at the other end. Cooney puts it in, and just like that, it was a chance for a 4-point lead, and now it's an 8-point lead.
Yeah, it's tough, those situations, but you've just kind of got to put that behind you and then move on to the next play.
Youssef looking for Harwood Bellis, but instead finds Kelshaw. Kelshaw, Gandy almost got it. It'll stay with the Mystics. You could say that's where experience comes in as well.
Yeah.
On that sequence of play at both ends, as Kelshaw looks for Threlfall. Threlfall gets a little bit of room. Jamieson rebounds. And the possession arrow will go the way of the Hatters.
And as well, these plays, so the Division Two is the first. This is the first final that we've had for a couple of years as well, due to COVID. You know, some players haven't been able to play until this season. So the Mystics, not having been in this situation before, a lot of them. So that where the experience of the Hatters team comes in. You know, they've played in front of crowds like this. They've been in arenas like this. They know what it takes.
Allen gets it back. Here is Cooney. Gets inside and scores from the baseline. Here is Rowe, currently on 8 points for the Mystics. Kelshaw looking for options. Finds it, and here is Rowe again, putting the moves on Cooney. Threlfall from her favourite spot, and that's why. Lucy Threlfall with her first points of the day. Greer Allen looks to respond off the back iron. Gandy gets the offensive rebound. Cooney gets for the third time. That's great offense there from the Hatters. Great patience and knowing where to get the ball when it was going up. Here is Harwood Bellis. Rowe.
The cross, the spin, the kick.
Harwood Bellis driving at Allen. And right now you can see Harwood Bellis just getting a bit frustrated with herself. Last few possessions haven't gone her way, and one of the key offensive components for this Mystics team.
Yeah, and like we say, you've just got to kind of look at the next possession. If it doesn't fall, it's as soon as it starts to drop, it gives you that confidence to go through.
Cooney with a long two and short. Gandy another rebound, and Rowe, the smallest player on the court, collects the rebound. Almost couldn't believe she got that loose ball as Rowe goes inside. The floater nearly gets it to go. Instead, she's going to go to the line for two. But so far, Charlie Rowe really showing some impetus offensively. 8 points on 3 for 4 shooting.
Yeah, Charlie's a player that can just do a bit of everything as well. You see her get those rebounds, and you think for her height as well, she probably shouldn't be getting as many rebounds as she does, but she's such a clever player, such a player with a high basketball IQ, and like I say, she can shoot the three and she can get inside when she needs to as well, which makes her a really difficult threat. And if she knocks down those free throws as well, that's only going to be even better for the Mystics.
As Charlie Rowe splits her free throws. Here is Gandy. Thought about it. Here is Cooney inside, and she scores. And Hatters with their first double-digit lead, or their second double-digit lead, excuse me, of the game. Here is Bryan inside, finds a bit of room, and it goes.
I think the Mystics really want to try and keep this within 10. You don't want the lead to get too far out of your grasp. Within 10, it's very manageable for them. Like I said, they've been in this situation against Stockport, and they're able to come back.
Stolen by Rowe on the pass from Riches. It's 1-on-2 though. Harwood Bellis comes back. Bryan inside, it goes to Harwood Bellis, and that score will do Becky Harwood Bellis the world of good.
Absolutely, yeah. You see it go through the basket, it just gives you that confidence, especially off a defensive stop like that as well. And
so far, from a double-digit advantage, Manchester back in it, 33-27, halfway through the second period. Jamieson misses the two, another stop for the Mystics. Rowe. And Rowe will reset. Holly Bryan, Rowe again. Rowe driving at Cooney, blocked by Sarah Cooney. And it will stay with the Mystics, but despite the block, no fear from Charlie Rowe.
That is what I love about Charlie. I love to watch her because she has no fear. She will go up against the biggest players on the opposing team and she will drive to the basket.
Bryan. And Holly Bryan travels with it, and it will go to the Sheffield Hatters, who lead 33-27 with 5:17 remaining in the half.
And the Mystics actually outscoring the Hatters 10-8 this quarter, which is, you know, that's going to be a real boost for them. They just need to keep playing like they've been playing all season.
Allen for three. And Rowe collects the loose ball, and here is Bryan. Kelshaw looking for Hannah Olty, but instead Steph Gandy picks up the loose ball. Here is Richards, and that's poked out of bounds by Harwood-Bellis. It will stay with the Hatters.
And that's exactly the kind of play that they need Becky Harwood-Bellis to do. One of those moves that's not going to show up on the stat sheet, but that's just going to be such an important tactic for the Mystics. Just knock the ball out of bounds a bit.
Cooney misses it, gets her own rebound, misses it again. Sheffield getting a lot of second bites at the cherry here as the ball goes out of bounds as Becky Harwood-Bellis. You see Coach Atkinson just telling his team just to slow down, not getting too involved in the emotion of a playoff final, which is very easy to do.
It is absolutely, and you know, as hard as it's going to be, they just need to treat it like it's a game. They know how to play this game. They've got to the finals because they know how to play this game, and they need to play it their way and not let Sheffield dictate how they have to play. Just slow things down and play as they know they can do.
As Holly Bryan takes a seat and Rebecca Illingworth comes back into the game for the Mystics with 4:32 remaining, still 33-27 to the Mystics. Riches, good defense from Rowe, gives it up to Jamieson. 7 on the shot clock. Nearly another turnover. Gandy comes up with it. That's a tough play from Steph Gandy, but the Mystics come up with it. Harwood-Bellis. Kelshaw just slowing it down a little bit. A lot of time on the shot clock. The open Becky Harwood-Bellis gets a 3 to go. You can see what that means to Becky Harwood-Bellis, who now has 10 points.
Yeah,
it does, 10 points.
That's huge for Becky as well, and that's huge contribution for the Mystics.
Was slow to get on the scoreboard there. I thought she had more than 7 points. As a whistle has gone. And now it's a one-possession game, though with 3:41 remaining in the half. That's 2 fouls now on Charlie Rowe, but Sheffield have enjoyed double-digit leads twice in this game, but twice the Manchester Mystics have answered back, which is great, great character from the home team.
It is, and especially for a team that so young as well and as not as experienced as this Sheffield team. It's great to see that they don't put their heads down, they keep going and chipping away at the lead because it's doable. They've done it before, and as we saw back in January, we saw the Stockport Lapwings come back from 10 points down with 2 minutes to go. It's never over in this game.
And Sheffield have now missed their last 6 shots in this game, and Manchester have taken full advantage of that as well.
Yeah, and something that really stands out as well, Steph Gandy hasn't scored this quarter, so Manchester have done a fantastic job of stopping her inside.
Inside goes Tolan, misses everything with her layup, fights for the loose ball, Gandy comes up with it. And here is Allen. Riches, all the time in the world, what a pass inside, but Cooney blows the layup. Bodies all over the place, but Cooney has it. Riches puts up a 3, knocks down a 3. Big shot for Lisa Riches. She now moves on to 7. 36-30 in favour of the Hatters. Kelshaw. Inside to Illingworth, just about collects it. And a block there from Cooney on the three-point attempt from Toland. And here comes Richards. Cooney drives inside, a bit of room. Gandy again with the offensive rebound and a foul.
And every time Manchester just start to creep back into it, Sheffield are able to then go on a little run to start to pull away.
That's 4 rebounds now for Steph Gandy to go with 14 points. And it's been a game of runs pretty much throughout this game, hasn't it? Sheffield started off with a 10-0 run. Manchester got their run, Sheffield got their run back. And now it's been pretty much the exact same thing in this second period.
It has, yeah. And like I said, I think we're going to see that all game long as well. I think it's just going to be back and forth this whole game.
Absolutely. Steph Gandy leading all scorers with 14 points. Becky Harwood-Bellis leading the way for the Mystics with 10. But despite the run that the Hatters are having, Manchester is staying in this. And as said, it's been a game of runs thus far.
Yeah, and Manchester just need to be able to keep doing what they're doing on defence. They've had some really good defensive possessions that resulted in maybe no points on the offence, which is what they need to be able to capitalise on as well. If they can knock those down, they'll be fine.
Both teams almost identical with field goal percentage, 47% for the Hatters, 44 for the Mystics. So some good shooting from both teams, as you see Sarah Cooney there inside. And Manchester, have had their skillful plays as well. It's a game of experience versus youth, no doubt about it.
It is, yeah, and Sheffield doing a really good job inside as well. They're very dominant inside. Obviously, having Steph Gandy helps. And the Mystics probably a little bit on the shorter side. Maybe they don't have anyone that can quite counter that as well. So I would look to see them maybe go to more of the outside game.
As Steph Gandy goes to the line for 2 shots. Gandy, who had 20 points in their quarter-final win over the Solent Kestrels 2. And a 3-point play completed by Steph Gandy. And the Hatters now lead 39-30 with 2:12 remaining in the half. Illingworth finds Olty on the catch and shoot, and that's good.
And that's a big basket from Hannah Olty. Stop that Sheffield run. We've got a couple of minutes left. Get the score as close as you can going into half-time.
4 points now on 50% shooting for Hannah Olty. Here is Richards. Allen inside to Gandy, over 2 Mystics players. And Toland collected the loose ball, and a foul was called as Elijah Toland fell to the floor. Sheffield fans really not happy with that call.
Well, that was some great D from the Mystics there, double teaming Steph Gandy to try and make the shot harder than as hard as possible for her to force her to take the tough shot.
Coach Garnet Gale himself wasn't happy with the call either way you look at it, as Charlie Rowe comes back into the game and Niamh Kelshaw will take a seat.
Here is Charlie Rowe.
Rowe. And she lost the ball, and Steph Gandy collects the loose ball. Here is Richards. 1:23 remaining in the half, and the Hatters lead 39-32. Cooney lost the ball as she was going for the shot. She almost had the ball knocked out of her, and it will actually stay with the Hatters.
And again, a great job for the Mystics on defence just to put that shot off. Get a hand on the ball, knock it out.
Gandy in her favourite spot. That's off the back iron.
I think the Mystics might have got a little bit lucky there with Steph Gandy missing that one.
Final minutes of the half, 39-32 in favour of the Hatters. Here is Becky Harwood-Bellis, finds, and a foul. Found an open Toland who got it to go and won. Beautiful find from Harwood-Bellis, and Toland, under pressure, gets the shot to go.
That's a really, really tough bucket from Toland as well, and that kind of basket, getting the and one on that, really is going to pump the team up.
As you see the replay there, Toland, the ball was thinking about it and then it just about dropped. But Toland misses the free throw, as the Hatters now 4 for 9 from free throw range here in this game so far. Here is Riches. Jess Southwell. Inside to Cooney, inside. Beautiful footwork from Sarah Cooney, getting some space between her and the basket. And the Hatters lead 41-34, and lots of food for thought for yourself and Darren at the halftime break. A wide open Lucy Threlfall, no good. Way to keep the ball alive from Charlie Rowe, but it goes straight to Sarah Cooney. But Rowe collects it back again. Great hustle, but Southwell collects it. Charlie Rowe has it back. Wow, what a defensive sequence that was. Final seconds, and the ball comes off Elijah Toland's foot, and that will end the first half here at the Manchester Basketball Performance Centre. The Hatters lead 41-34 at the half. Just quick thoughts before you join Darren for the halftime break.
Yeah, I mean, Sheffield are showing their experience and showing, you know, that they know what they're doing in this game, because they have such a lot of talent on this team that have been here before. They're doing a fantastic job. Steph Gandy inside, 15 points in the game already, along with 5 rebounds as well. She's so tough inside. But the Mystics, you know, they're not letting this lead get too far ahead of them. They're within 7. They've been able to pull it back into a 1-possession game. And Becky Howard with Bellis with 10 and Charlie Rowe with 9 are doing a fantastic job for them so far.
And Steph Gandy leading all scorers right now with 15 points. I'll let you join Darren for the halftime interval. As you see highlights from the first half, Manchester sticking with the Sheffield Hatters, who led by double digits twice in that first half. But Manchester, who've not led in the game so far, have stuck with them toe to toe, and the Hatters lead 41-34 at the half. Steph Gandy there with the basket, and some fantastic play from the Hatters right there from Lisa Riches, who had 47 caps for Great Britain and was actually one of the Great Britain originals back in 2006 when the programme was revived. And we are just about set for Darren Paul to join us, and Ray Akpafuri is actually going to take over from Caroline for the halftime chat. So it's over to you, Darren.
Welcome back in to the National Basketball Performance Centre live in Manchester. It's the D2 Women's Final. Darren Paul, Ray Akpafuri going to take you through all the halftime news and action. Well, let's just talk about what a great first half of basketball we have seen. It is 34-41 in favour of the Sheffield Hatters. Some opening remarks from you. What have you seen in this first 20 minutes?
I've seen a battle of two very, very contrasting styles. I've seen Manchester like to run the floor, like to be effective from the perimeter, and I've seen that Sheffield Hatters like to, you know, be as dominant as possible in the paint and slow the ball down, slow the pace down. It's been really, really interesting watch. It'll be interesting to see which side goes on a run moving forward.
Yeah, and that's been a lot of the scout from people around the game coming into today's matchup. We've known that Manchester, and we spoke about it pre-game with Kaz Bullock, it's going to be a lot of run, a lot of gun, whereas with Sheffield, if they get past that foul line, you are in deep, deep trouble. From Sheffield, who stood out for you in this first half?
Easy. For Sheffield, we have Steph Gandy. She's just proven to be so strong, so quick, and so not even quick, just intelligent with her movement. Yeah. You know, she's a big body, she's banging inside, she's grabbing as many rebounds as possible, and just being a threat internally. Me being a 5, I can appreciate that kind of move, the kind of things that she's doing. It's just so enjoyable to watch. She plays with such passion, you know. Her intelligence off the screens, her footwork when she doesn't receive the ball is just second to none, you know.
Yeah, the thing to remember about Steph Gandy, of course, WBBL MVP back in 14-15 season, played for Michigan University, played in Spain. This game has taken her around the world, and she's still playing, and she still looks like she's absolutely loving every second of it.
Yeah, she can tell by the energy she plays with. When she got the and one, you heard the scream go halfway through the arena. She loves the game. You can tell with her intelligence. You can tell everything that she does with her passion. She's, you know, passing on knowledge to her other teammates, and it's just an absolute pleasure to watch her.
Any other players that stood out for you? Of course, I know you've highlighted already the player of the year, Sarah Cooney.
Oh yeah, for sure. She's operating very, very quietly here. She, very, very close to a triple-double already, 13.7 rebounds, 5 assists. She's just really effective cutting to the basket. Everyone's just forgetting her presence. And she's got so many, looks underneath the basket. Gandy's doing a good job finding her. Everyone's doing a good job finding her underneath the basket. And you can see why she's, player of the year,
Yeah, that's a fantastic combination, Gandy to Cooney, and it's resulting in buckets and spades for this team.
For sure, like their symmetry, second turn on, it's like they know where they're going to be, they know what each person's going to do, and you can tell like almost 30 points between them. Hopefully they can keep it moving forward.
And of course, Lisa Rishes, she's the captain and she's playing like it. She's playing a captain's performance because, as we're going to talk about, this has been a really streaky game of basketball. And after an 0-6 run for Manchester, that was ended by a triple from Riches, then a stop, then an and one play from Gandy.
That's what experienced heads do. Riches, like you said, she's the captain. She keeps the ship together. That was a very, very timely bucket. Waits them the tide, and then again, momentum keep moving forwards. Like you said, a stop and one. All of a sudden, what was going to be a 2-point lead stretched out to what then became a 9-point lead. And experienced heads. Manchester are very, very inexperienced. They need to overcome things like that if they want to keep moving forward in this game. Yeah,
so let's focus on what Manchester have done well so far. And in their 34 points, who stood out to you?
I want to give a special shout out to Howard Bellis.
Yeah.
For the simple reason, her efficiency. She's 3 for 4 from the paint. Very quiet, 10 points. And you don't even notice that she's got 10 points, but she's been so effective on the floor. Being able to space the floor, being able to sort of lock up defensively, and also on top of that, just the way that she just moves around on the floor. It's one thing being able to make shots and this and that, but it's another thing just to be able to move and create space for others to be effective.
Yeah, it's good to see her performing like we know that she can. Of course, won the league, won the playoff with Ipswich last year, and now is back home where Manchester Mystics will believe that she belongs, playing for the Mystics in a final.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I just want to give some love to Charlie Rowe as well. Her ability to beat the defender off the dribble has been exceptional to watch. The way she's able to push the pace at times, 5-on-4s, 5-on-3s, her decision making once she gets to just below the 3-point line is. Her intelligence for someone at such a young age is very, very, very admirable.
I've really, really enjoyed the game so far of Hannah Olty. I thought that she has just brought a lot of energy as soon as she's come in, setting some big screens, being aggressive down low, and is making opportunities for her teammates.
She reminds me a lot of me when I come off the bench. It's just a lot of diving for loose balls and keeping plays alive and just doing all of the little things that go unnoticed and providing energy to the team. And again, such a pleasure to watch. This game has been played at a very, very high level, and I'm really enjoying this game.
One more, I promise you, for the Mystics. Just Rebecca Illingworth as well, in the similar mould to what we've seen from Olty and from Brian. Is just come in, do a job, inject energy, go about yourself, and then move on.
Yeah, it's really, really impressive. Just being able to express yourself, whether you're starting off the bench, just being able to express yourself, show people what you can do, and then think about the team after. It's just really, really nice to see.
Well, it's been a fantastic season of action, and we have awards to remind you of from the WNBL D2. The Player of the Year from D2 South, Morgan Green of the Solent Kestrels 2. And from Brent Bulls, it was their head coach, Rick Buckner, who took Coach of the Year honours.
Big shout out to Brent Bulls, man. I have so many friends playing for that team. They had a fantastic season. Shouts to Josephine, shouts to the whole team out there. Shouts to Leah, who just, first season back in basketball, playing off hip surgery, and it's just fantastic. Their whole team played really, really well this year, and their coach very thoroughly deserves it.
WNBL D2 North Player of the Season. I mean, who else but Sarah Cooney?
You can just see it.
I think we're seeing it, yeah.
You can very much see it today. You can very much see her intelligence and the way she moves. Very, very well deserved.
And Coach of the Year, Jade Bow Butters of Stockport. That Wings player coach, in the semi-final, she put up 30 points.
Oh boy.
As well as winning the cup.
Yeah.
And just had a great season, took Labrings to #1 this year.
Of course. Watching that game when they won the cup was absolutely, I was on the edge of my seat. Shouts to Stockport, they deserve the accolades.
So, moving back into this final now, just throwing our focus forward to what we're going to see in the next 20 minutes. How do Sheffield go about securing what is already a decent lead?
They just need to continue to dominate inside, you know, continue to be patient, continue to move the ball the way that they are, continue to, you know, shrink the driving lanes for players like Charlie Rowe and everybody to, you know, just make the paint as small as possible for them the way that they have been. Obviously securing the rebounds, continue to win the rebound game. I'm sure they'll be fine. You know, they've got a lot of experience, a lot of intelligent players, and I'm sure, you know, Sarah Cooney continuing to be the player of the year, Steph Gandy continuing to be the dominant force that she is in the paint. It's actually going to be a battle to see who's going to be MVP between the two of them. I'm really intrigued by it, but, you know, it's going to be interesting.
Obviously, this weekend has been framed a lot around the memory of Betty Codona OBE. I mean, such an icon in our sport, of course. How are Sheffield coping with that, what is going to be a very emotional day for them?
I think the best tribute they can give to her is just to exert their dominance by being calm. You know, exert a level of composure. Obviously, we know what they're playing for. We know what they're playing for her. We know how emotional the situation is for her, for the team. But if they exert a level of calmness, a level of focus, a level of determination in their game, and then they can celebrate properly with the emotion at the end of the game.
And for the Manchester Mystics, I mean, how do they go about getting back into this one? It's not a big lead, but it could be significant. What do they need to do this second half?
They did keep doing what they do in the second quarter, just, you know, to continue to pick up the pace, you know, continue to push the ball, get more 5-on-4s, get more 5-on-3s. They're quicker, they're younger, they've got more legs about them. Then by the time they get to the free throw line, it's more about what decisions can they make. How can they get as many, you know, open threes as they have in the first half? Maybe they can get more, maybe they can be more effective from the exterior, stretch the floor a little bit more, and maybe bring the game a little bit closer.
How much does it hinge on Charlie Rowe?
Sorry?
How much does their success hinge on getting Charlie Rowe really cooking?
For sure. Like he said earlier, she's quick, she's very intelligent, but they just need to continue to get her involved, pushing the basket. The more they push, the more Charlie Rowe can be involved, the more she can find her teammates, the more she can be effective, even beating the help defender down the floor, getting foul calls, getting chances at three-point plays. It's just a case of pushing and maintaining a level of composure.
Well, that's going to do it for us. It's at half-time. I'm going to send you back up to our commentary team of Kaz Bullock and John Hobbs.
Thank you, guys. Just around 3 minutes to go until the start of the third period. 41-34 in favour of the Sheffield Hatters, and straight away referee or umpire Brett Perkins asking both of us, when does the Manchester City-Watford game end, just in case, as of course the Etihad Stadium is about a 5 to 10 minute drive away here from the National Basketball Performance Centre, and I know it as well as anyone, traffic is an absolute nightmare. What's Manchester City have finished playing around a 53,000 seat stadium, it's always going to be a nightmare getting back. But back to the basketball at hand, and you know, a good half from the Sheffield Hatters. They have a 7-point lead. However, for the Manchester Mystics, they've kept their noses in this game. They haven't led at all in this contest, but they've answered every Sheffield run, but Sheffield have had the bigger runs. Is that something you agree on?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And we've said before, you know, Sheffield are a very experienced team, a lot of players that have been here before, but Manchester have done a very, very good job of being able to slow down those runs and then go on runs by themselves. They've put some real defensive pressure on, and they've been able to get out into transition, which is what they like to do. Sometimes they haven't been able to convert on all those shots, but they've been able to stop Sheffield from scoring, which is, you know, that's the important thing, but then you need to convert on those shots themselves. If you look at the quarter breakdown as well, Manchester actually outscoring Sheffield 17-16 in the second quarter. It was that first quarter where they went 8 points down that is where they're trying to come back from.
But you know, statistically, if you look at percentage in this game so far, both teams have actually been fairly equal. It must be said they're both shooting around 45% from the field, albeit the Mystics are shooting slightly higher, only very slightly higher. They're shooting around 45 to 50% from downtown, and both teams have been to the line 9 times in the half. Mystics have converted 4 of those. Sheffield have converted 5. So it's fairly even in that standpoint, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's just that Sheffield have been able to take more shots and get off more shots. But yeah, you don't want a game that could be close to come down to free throws in the end, to miss free throws as well if both teams are not converting all of them.
And Steph Gandy leads all scorers with 15 points for the Hatters, as Becky Harwood-Bellis leading the way with 10 for the Mystics. As you see, Garnet Gale just giving some last-second instructions to his team. And right now, I know we spoke about the great Betty Codona, OBE, who sadly passed away in March. There was a fantastic 24 seconds of applause. We touched on it at the start of the show. How proud would she be of her team right now? They are, obviously there's a lot of basketball to be played, and what would you think she would be like going into this third period? Is it just a case of just keep the intensity going, be proud, and just be a Sheffield Hatters player, basically?
Absolutely.
Which is so typical of the community in Sheffield. The Hatters such a proud organisation.
Yeah, that is absolutely what it would be. Keep up the intensity, keep playing like you're playing. They want to win this. They want to win and add to that trophy haul that they have over there. And it's so good as well to see some of the WBBL Hatters out there supporting. There's Helen Naylor, Hannah Shaw, Ebony Horton. It's great to see.
Absolutely, and that's what it's all about. That's the community that Sheffield Hatters bring. Over 60 years of top-class female basketball in the Sheffield area, the Steel City. But the Manchester Mystics looking to spoil the Sheffield Hatters playoff final party here in their own backyard, it must be said, even though they play their games just along the road at the Manchester Basketball Centre in Whalley Range. I hope I got that name correct. Yep. The Whalley Range. Good. Yep. I know it as the name we shan't call it anymore, but I'm not gonna say any more there as Hannah Alty misses her first free throw. 41-34 in favour of the Hatters, very early stages of this third period. And here is Riches. Double team there, but she breaks out of it. Here is Jamieson, back to Riches. Steph Gandy from her favourite spot, and that's why. And referees just calling for the floor wiper to come onto the floor. And Steph Gandy, for years and years and years, that baseline jumper, it's just so typical of her game, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's so tough to stop as well. I mean, you can get a hand in her face and she's still probably going to knock it down. So really tough to stop. But I like the double team that the Mystics put on at the top as well. Obviously resulted in a score, but I like the pressure that they're putting on. Kelshaw's still yet to get off the mark so far. Alty on the catch and shoot, but her feet really weren't set. She misses that baseline jumper. Allen to Jamieson, who was trailing there, and Jamieson's going to go to the foul line. And there'll be 2 shots for Anne Jamieson, one of the co-captains of this Sheffield Hatters team, and another player who's been around for so many years and has contributed fantastically to this Hatters program throughout that time span. And Jamieson now moves on to 4 points, and the Hatters lead 45-34, an 11-point lead for the team from the Steel City. Kelshaw driving inside, misses everything on the layup. Riches collects the loose ball. That's 5 rebounds now for Lisa Riches. Cooney putting the moves on Harwood-Bellis. Riches, 7 to shoot. Lisa Riches
Allen, baseline jumper, and that's good. And the Hatters have extended their lead to 13 points. Manchester need an answer here. This is the biggest lead of the game for the Hatters. Rowe. Charlie Rowe driving over Gandy, misses the layup, and a foul has been called, a loose ball foul. As you see the replay, Charlie Rowe again, like we said in the second quarter, showing no fear. And a foul has been called on Ann Jamieson. That's a second foul on Ann Jamieson. Being very truthful, I'm not sure quite what happened there, but Ann Jamieson, a second foul.
Yeah, I didn't catch that either, but you know, gives the Mystics another chance. Need to really cut into this lead, and they do with that.
Absolutely, yeah. Hannah Alty inside for two. And it's 47-36 in favour of the Hatters. Here is Richards. Jamieson. Early stages of this second period. 5 on the shot clock. Allen for 2. And this is pretty much everything with that two-pointer, and another stop for the Manchester Mystics.
And they're the kind of plays that you then need to come down the other end and get a score from it on those.
Rowe inside, too strong, and Richards comes away with it. And nearly a foul there from Kelshaw, but play will continue. The Hatters fans are up on their feet wanting a foul. Cooney. Richards nearly slipped on the floor, gets a 3 up, and it rolls around and out. And the ball goes out of bounds, so the Sheffield will keep the ball.
And again, the Mystics doing the hard work to force a turnover and get the ball, and then not being able to capitalise on that. And again, that might be something that comes with experience and playing in a situation like this.
And a timeout has been called by the Manchester Mystics, and probably a good timeout to have. Both teams really struggling to get into a rhythm in the last minute or so. Really scrappy basketball, lots of missed shots, and lots of unforced errors that you don't normally see with these kind of teams. Yeah,
absolutely, maybe. And you know, sometimes you can be on that roll in the first half. You have half time, it's about 15 minutes. It's a strange time to stop and think and stop playing basketball. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to sort of get back into that rhythm again. So timeout now is a really good call. Just sort of both teams regroup and go back to what's been working for them.
Absolutely. And speaking to Dave Atkinson earlier in the week, as mentioned earlier in the show, and one of the unsung heroes for Stockport Lapwings' National Cup success back in January. David Atkinson, of course, Manchester Mystics coach, but also instrumental in providing scouting reports for all the Division 1 teams that Stockport played throughout the National Cup. And speaking to David about that, all he said was, Jade's my friend from the Northwest. We've got to help each other out in these situations. And that just, just is all about the community of Northwest basketball. And obviously you yourself that plays basketball in the Northwest, that's a good thing to have.
It absolutely is, and it is such a community, and you want to help each other out when you can.
Cooney gets it to go on the miss from Jamieson. That's 15 points now for Sarah Cooney, who's now starting to get into her groove in this third period. Rowe, who kicked it out. I think she was almost frustrated that she did that as she found an open hoop, but a foul was called anyway.
Yeah, she had a wide open path there.
Substitution checking into the game. Yusuf checking in.
As Yusuf checks in to the game, and Lucy Threlfall takes a seat. Here is Yusuf. Kelshaw. Inside to Alty, goes glass, no good. Yusuf and Gandy fighting for it. And it will stay with the Mystics. And Richards taps it back out of bounds.
And Yusuf has been a really impressive presence on the floor for the Mystics. The only player on the Mystics with a positive plus-minus at the moment. She's done a real good job of just getting into those passing lanes and getting those deflections.
In here is Yusuf on the ball, but misses the handle as she looked to start her dribble. Here is Richards. Sheffield, it's all the way for Lisa Richards. Manchester's defence all at sea. Here is Rowe. Nice crossover from Charlie Rowe, but misses the layup. Harwood Bellis for three off the back iron. And Cooney collects the rebound. Jamieson. Riches. Just telling her team to slow it down and just compose yourselves. Here is Breer Allen. 5 on the shot clock. Great defense though from Harwood Bellis and Neve Kelshaw, and the Mystics come away with it. Charlie Rowe collects the pass and lays it in. 51-38 to the Hatters.
And that's big for the Mystics. They've not had a bit of a scoring drought for the last few minutes, so that's going to give them a bit of a confidence boost. You know, it's still a 13-point game, just chip away, but time definitely on Sheffield's side, and they're playing like the experienced team that we know they are.
And there's Jess Southwell, as you can see. She's going to check into the game, and Breer Allen will take a seat. Allen right now with 6 points. Southwell yet to get off the mark, but Jess Southwell, a former Great Britain under-18 international, has actually been with the Hatters organisation since she was 10 years old. And she passes off to Jamieson, who drives baseline. Gandy wide open for two. Harwood Bellis to Alti. Kelshaw uses the screen from Youssef, but still keeps her dribble alive. Goes glass, that's short. Here is Cooney, 2 on 2. Cooney, Southwell got the loose ball, instead Jameson picks it up, and Sheffield will reset. Jamieson, 7 to shoot. Riches, shot clock winding down. Richards strings a three and goes to the Sheffield crowd, who are on their feet.
And that was a tough shot from Riches.
And as you say, the vast majority of the WBBL squad in attendance here today, loving that one. Kelshaw, floater, and Neve Kelshaw is going to go to the foul line.
I have to say I'm a little bit surprised that Manchester haven't maybe gone to the three-point shot a little bit more this quarter. They are being able to drive inside, but they're not able to finish with some of the shots they've had. And they have a lot of, you know, three-point shooters on this team. They've got a lot of players that are a threat from outside, as Joe Voliotis in particular comes into the game. So I'm a bit surprised that maybe not gone to that early, but maybe, you know, that's something we'll see towards the end of this quarter.
Along with Voliotis is Rebecca Illingworth checking back into the game as Harwood Bellis takes a seat, and Hannah Alty also sits down. As Neve Kelshaw, of course, joined the Mystics mid-season from the Newcastle Eagles and straight away adjusted to life back in Manchester, and you know is really one of the main team components in this lineup, a huge mentor for the younger players.
Yeah, she's such a valuable asset to have on this team, and for these players to be able to learn from her as well, it's fantastic for them.
Riches inside to Cooney off the glass. And Cooney now with 17 points. Rowe finds Kelshaw, a two-pointer, short. Voloritis with the rebound. And Illingworth puts in a mid-range jumper. 58-43 in favour, or excuse me, 58-41 in favour of the Hatters. Here is Richards. Cooney. 3:39 remaining in the third. A risky pass from Cooney, and it goes out of bounds. Mystics get it.
Timeout called by the Sheffield Hatters.
As Coach Garnet Gale calls a timeout, he wants to just pull the troops in, just to calm things down. Few slack possessions, uncharacteristic really of the Sheffield Hatters, but Mystics haven't really taken full advantage, and as a result, Hatters have a 17-point lead with 3:37 remaining in the third.
Yeah, Mystics have been able to force us the turnovers, you know, and knock the ball out of bounds as well. Sheffield, like you say, a couple of little sloppy passes and things which you don't often see from them, such an experienced team. But the Mystics really need to be able to capitalise on those mistakes, because Sheffield are such a tough team to play and a team that don't make that many mistakes. If you're going to beat them, you need to be able to take advantage when they do. Absolutely,
and there's the Manchester Mystics, of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, defeating the West Arts Warriors 69-49 in the playoff quarterfinals, and then that thrilling win over the Stockport Lapwings 71-68 just down the road in Stockport in what was a thrilling encounter. And they've more than earned their spot in this playoff final today. Charlie Rowe going inside, attacking, going right at the teeth of the Hatters defence, and she's going to go to the foul line. And that's just, you know, we sound like a broken record talking about it, but that's just characteristic of what Charlie Rowe is all about.
It is. She will drive, and Charlie Rowe has some of the best footwork I've seen in a young player, and I say this all the time whenever I watch her, but she is fantastic at driving to the basket.
Averaged around 12 points in the Four Nations tournament last week in the Welsh capital, playing for England, averaging 18 points, as we mentioned, in the WEABL this season, and one of the main offensive threats for the Mystics. Cooney, who's been one of the main offensive threats all season for the Hatters, alongside this lady, Steph Gandy. Cooney backs down, and she's going to go to the line for two, and Mystics still not yet in the penalty, just 3 team fouls, but Hatters in team fouls right now.
2 shots to play.
Yeah, and that's, you know, there's 3 minutes, still a lot of time left in the third quarter. If the Mystics can, now if they start to drive, or continue to drive as they have been, they can draw the foul and get to the line as well. You might be able to chip into it that way through free throws.
Of course, we mentioned earlier that the WBBL team here you know, watching this game and supporting the Hatters, of course. Lots of these players have actually played for the Hatters WBBL team as well over the years, and making Division 2 their home right now in such a competitive women's league. Rowe puts up a 3 over Cooney, and that's short, but an offensive rebound for Voloraitis, and she makes no mistake. Of course, Josephine Voloraitis, another one of those England juniors at the Four Nations tournament. Her father, the assistant coach at the Manchester Giants. Gandy finds Southwall. And I think Southwall, in fact, it was a foul called. I thought Southwall might have stepped out of bounds, but a foul was called before that, as you see the replay of Jess Southwall. And the foul called there on Elijah Toland. It's her second. And now Manchester creeping up into the team fouls with 2:32 remaining. Hatters lead 59-45. Southwall, offensive foul called. I think that's on Ann Zammit. And that's 4 fouls on Ann Zammit. Of course, another veteran player, Ann Zammit, a player who's been around for so many years, but that's like every Sheffield player, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, absolutely, yeah.
Substitution for the Hatters, checking into the games number 5, Jamieson.
Toland will take a seat, and Holly Bryan checks in for the Mystics. Yusuf lost the ball, and it's going to be a Sheffield possession. Great defence, veteran defence there from Steph Gandy, and that's something that we haven't checked on throughout the years. Steph Gandy really was known not just for her offensive talents, but defensively as well. One of the main anchors when she was playing for the GB national team. Yeah, definitely, and you can see it there again in that play, and you can see it today, how Sheffield have been playing as well. And these players know each other very well. They've played together for a long time together. Jamieson misses the free throw line jumper. And here is Bryan. Bryan going to work, driving inside, and open Voloraitis in and out with her three-point attempt. Richards collects the rebound, and it's 1-on-3. Cooney all on her own.
And that was
Bryan with the rebound. There's a scramble under the basket, and the possession arrow will stay with the Hatters.
Well, that was great defense from Charlie Rowe there to stand in the way of the shot, alter the shot, and not let it drop.
.147 remaining left in the third period. Hatters lead 59-45 as I'm trying to do double duty, calling the game and getting score updates on YouTube. It's been a long day today, but what a day it's been so far. Rowe inside in transition.
And that is how fast Charlie Rowe is.
17 for 15 points, for Charlie Rowe, and a steal! And she's going to go all the way and score again. Back-to-back scores for Charlie Rowe, coming alive in the third.
And that's huge for Manchester to bring this back to within 10. They've been down 17-18. They just need to keep their composure, go into the fourth, put this a little bit further, and
Jamieson will go to the line. Steph Gandy seeing Ann Jamieson, who was wide open, going over 3 Manchester players. And the Glaswegian will go to the line for 2. Great answer though. Great comeback here from the Mystics. They've trailed by as many
19.
as 19, yeah. But have come back, and it's now a 10-point lead as Jamieson misses the first free throw, but splits them at the line.
And if you're Sheffield, you need to be all over Charlie Rowe.
And a steal there as Richards comes up with the loose ball. Richards will pass it. Cooney, big three. Steph Gandy again with the offensive rebound. That's 6 rebounds now for Steph Gandy to go with 19 points. And she's going to go to the line for 2, as you see on the replay. That would have been a huge 3 for Cooney if it dropped. She's only made her 1 3-pointer in this game. That was her only 3-point attempt previous to that. Steph Gandy, a normally reliable free throw shooter, around 79% for the season, gets her first. And it's important now for the Hatters to just stay composed and just try and maintain this double-digit lead going into the fourth period. That's the goal right now for Garnet Gale, but for the Mystics it's to narrow the gap, as far as you can, or as narrow as you can.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sheffield have got the time on their side. They've got the lead, and they'll just want to keep their composure, keep going.
Threlfall will go to the line for 2. Lucy Threlfall, who's only got 3 points so far, a really strong 3-point shooter, particularly from the top of the key. That's been her only score until this point. She's now going to go to the foul line, as Yusuf will take a seat, and Grace Tuck will check in for the first time today for the Manchester Mystics. As the first free throw is no good for Threlfall. Of course, following on from this game, tipping at 6 o'clock, Manchester Magic will take on Solent Kestrel's 2 in the final game of what has been an enthralling day of basketball so far. And you caught the tail end of the Division 3 men's final that went all the way down to the wire, and such incredible noise predominantly made from the Teesside Lions fans. They got the job done in their Division 3 final, but what an advert for Division 3 basketball in that game.
Completely, yeah. What a close game. It was, it was loud in here when I walked in as well, and it looked like, we might have been headed to overtime in that one.
Well, you think that was loud? Me and Mark could barely hear ourselves on commentary. It was that loud. As Lisa Richards makes her first free throw, she now moves on to 13 points, make that 14 points, and the Hatters lead 64-49. Final 24 seconds of this third quarter. Bryan. So here is Threlfall, who misses the layup. Ball goes out of bounds. It will stay, or it will go, excuse me, to the Hatters. Final seconds of this third quarter, 8 seconds left. Jamieson, big three, back iron it goes, gets her own rebound, Riches at the buzzer, and that's off right. And that'll end the third period here at the National Basketball Performance Centre in Manchester, where the Sheffield Hatters lead the Manchester Mystics 64-49. And Steph Gandy leading the way with 21 points, and Sarah Cooney with 18 points for the Hatters, and Charlie Rowe leading the way for the Mystics with 17. It's been a great first three quarters for the Hatters, but there have been times where the Mystics have come back into it. For Sheffield, it's all about maintaining your composure and just seeing this game out. It is, yeah. They have the lead. They know what they need to do. Sarah Cooney has been fantastic, and Stephanie Gandy inside, incredible as well. They're in control here. They can 15-point lead heading into the fourth. They're going to be happy with that. So they can take their time. They don't need to take any quick shots, no early shots on the shot clock. Manchester, on the other hand, they are going to need to try and get some points on the board quickly to chip into this lead. They did a great job coming back to within 11, but Sheffield, again, using experience, just able to pull away a little bit further. And even though we don't have any score graphics, I can tell you that our game day sponsors, hopefully we've got that on board. No, we don't even have that on board. We really don't have any any graphics whatsoever in this Division 2 women's game. But a big shout out to our sponsors, Wilson Sports Surf Dynamics, Sure Shot and Sport England, for bringing NBL Live and WNBL Live to your screens on the Basketball England YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever Basketball England events are happening near your town or city across the country. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are across the country or across the world. Final quarter here in the Division 2 women's final. Sheffield Hatters lead 64-49. But for Manchester, you know, they've been trailing by as much as, they've trailed by as much as 19 points, but they're not out of this yet. Not at all, not at all. And like I said, you know, we've seen teams come back from deficits like this. It's not over at all. They just need to get some quick points on the board, get some quick scores, and anything can happen. Of course, you know, most notably the Stockport Lapwings coming back from 12 down against Solent in the cup final at this very arena. And that's a really unlucky shot to not drop for Becky Bellis. Here is Southwell. Mystic fans letting themselves be heard as Southwell has it. Inside to Jamieson. Jamieson lost the ball. Rowe comes up with it. It's 2-on-2. Charlie Rowe going at Gandy. Misses the layup. Alty collected the rebound, and Mystics will keep possession. Here is Harwood Bellis, looking for options, finds it in Rowe, a wide open three, and she knocks it down. And that's just what the Mystics need. Mystics 5 for 14 from downtown in this game. Cooney inside, a wide open Steph Gandy, misses the free throw line jumper. Cooney the rebound, misses it, gets it again, and a foul has been called under the basket. Riches has stayed on the floor, and Riches looks to be in a bit of trouble. There was you can see she's holding her leg, and that's a worrying sign for the Sheffield Hatters. No, you don't. Lisa Riches, as mentioned, you know, Great Britain international, actually was part of the national team revival in 2006, as mentioned at half-time. 47 caps before retiring just before London 2012, but came back and has had a great season with the Hatters here in Division 2, but really struggling to even get up. That's a really worrying sign. We do hope she's okay. But like most Sheffield Hatter players, she's a battler. She will try and walk this off, run this off, whatever she needs to do. Garnet Gale just seeing if she's okay and if she needs a sub. I think she might have tweaked her ankle a little bit there. As Sarah Cooney makes the first free throw and the Hatters lead by 13. And Sarah Cooney makes good on her free throws, the Division Two Player of the Year. Kelshaw driving inside, misses the layup. That was unlucky from Niamh Kelshaw. And here is Cooney again. Lisa Riches on the ball now, still on the court. Southwell was wide open there, but decided to drive inside, lost the ball. Hannah Rolte comes up with it, and it's 2-on-1. Charlie Rowe will slow it down. That just shows the maturity that Rowe has. She puts up a three, but is short. And Jamieson comes up with a loose ball.
Yeah, great decision from Rowe there.
Southwell deciding to slow it down. 66-52 to the Hatters with 8-3 remaining in this game. Cooney, good defense there from Brian. Riches banks in a floater. Still running gingerly though on that left ankle. Kelshaw, Alti, Brian looking for options. Goes inside herself. And that'll be a foul on Ann Jamieson. That'll be her 5th foul. So Ann Jamieson fouls out of the game with 5 points, 7 rebounds and 3 assists. But has shot 0 for 6 from the field.
But she, you know, again, her presence on the floor for the Hatters is really important. You know, she might not be on the score sheet as much, but again, she's a player with presence.
Absolutely, and you know, has contributed to so much, you know, away from the points. You know, grabbing 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Southwell loses the ball, but Sheffield will stay with the possession. As I think Lucy Thrillful was looking to come back into the game. Coach Atkinson tells her to sit back down. .7:28 remaining in this game. Hatters lead 68-52. Cooney, baseline jumper. And Holly Bryan with the rebound. Here is Alti looking for Harwood Bellis, and she'll reset. Kelshaw driving, goes glass, rebounds Southwell.
And Manchester as well, being without Maddie Owen, their second leading scorer this season as well.
Absolutely, such an integral part of this team. Was 50-50 before this week's training session, but after taking training this week, decided not to play in this game as she didn't want to aggravate her injury any more than she needed to, as a foul has been called and a timeout has been called by Coach Atkinson.
Yeah, that's a tough decision, but it could be a very sensible decision, the right decision. When you're a young player and you've got an injury, it's really hard to not want to be playing, but you don't want to do any further damage, and she'll be ready to go next season.
Absolutely, and a timeout called as mentioned, and the Sheffield Hatters lead 68-52 with 7:02 remaining. Of course, at 6 o'clock tonight, our final game of day one here in the playoff finals weekend, as the Manchester Magic take on Solent Kestrels 2, and then following on from that, tomorrow afternoon, it's the turn of Division 1 as the Solent Kestrels and Coda Suffolk Pride get us underway on Sunday at 1 o'clock, and then it'll be the turn of the Solent Kestrels and the Hemel Storm in Division 1 men. 2 blockbuster games to see this season out.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic weekend of basketball, isn't it? We've got five full games, and Solent with a real presence along these
Absolutely.
finals.
Also as well in the junior finals, which will be the week after as well. So Solent, you know, well represented. Of course, their third team in the men reached the round of 16 in Division 3, and their second team in Division 2 in the women reached the quarterfinals My goodness me, what would have happened if those two teams had made it to this dance this weekend? It would have been a Solent party in the northwest. South Coast party, 270 miles away here in Manchester, or around 270 miles away. As Bria Allen, who had such a strong start to the game, hit a couple of threes, misses the first free throw. And Allen makes no mistake with her second attempt. Here is Rowe. Harwood Bellis looking for Kelshaw, finds her. Niamh Kelshaw driving, kicks it out to Harwood Bellis with 10 on the shot clock. Good defense from the Hatters, and Richards comes up with it. Here is Cooney, it's one-on-one, but Sarah Cooney slows it down. Gandy goes glass, too strong, and Threlfall with the rebound. Threlfall looking for Rowe, finds a nice pass inside to Bryan. Beautiful basketball from the Mystics. 69-54 in favour. And a foul called, offensive foul called. And a respite there for the Mystics. They get possession back with 6:18 remaining. And they trail by 15.
They're still fighting. They're still going, you know, putting on that full court defense as well. They're still chipping away at this lead. And we really love to see that from such a young team as well.
Kelshaw driving at Riches, an open Holly Bryan drives inside, offensive foul. Great defensive awareness there from Lisa Riches, knowing exactly where Holly Bryan was going and getting her body in the way. As you see there on the replay, that's just veteran court awareness from Lisa Riches. Player has said who retired just before the London 2012 Olympics but came back. Steal there from Harwood Bellis, who recovered well. Here is Kelshaw driving at Riches, going inside, no good, gets her own board and scores. Great movement there from Lucy Threlfall. And it's almost a steal there from Holly Bryan. Body's on the floor, Gandy has it. Riches, and Riches wants to slow it down. There was a scrappy sequence there for around 30 seconds. Allen has it. 4 on the shot clock. Riches goes glass, too strong, gets her own rebound though, and almost nonchalantly brings the ball back up. Cooney, great defense there from Harwood Bellis. Sheffield have it back with 4 seconds on the shot clock. 19 offensive rebounds for Sheffield in this game thus far. The shot clock winding down, loses the ball. Sarah Cooney goes out of bounds, and another stop for the Mystics.
And that's some great defense from the Manchester Mystics. They just need to get some more points on the board now. They've been really strong defensively all game. They have done all season, and it's something that they're quite well known for.
And Jess Southwell with the foul on Charlie Rudd. Both teams not yet in the penalty. We're exactly 5 minutes left in this fourth period, and Manchester again mounting a comeback in this game, just like they've been doing pretty much all game long, but Sheffield have kept that lead intact.
Yep, Sheffield still just able to keep the Mystics at arm's reach.
And of course the Hatters won both league encounters this season, 82-58 in Sheffield. Rowe for 3. Oh, it was thinking about it, but it falls out. Kelshaw 2, and Gandy with the loose ball. Great defense there from Rowe on Riches, and Riches will collect it back as the ball went over the timeline. Cooney putting the moves on Harwood Bellis. Good help defense there from Kelshaw. Big 3, and it goes for Riches. That's huge.
That's a huge 3.
Kelshaw looking to answer back, goes Glass and lays it up and in. Quick timeout called by Garnet Gale, a wise timeout as well, as even though Richards hit that big three, Manchester came right back at them and matched them with a two of their own.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they've been doing all game, going toe-to-toe, but Sheffield's still able to pull out. As you see, that's a huge three for Sheffield as well.
But Niamh Kelshaw attacking Lisa Richards, who didn't want a foul. She's on 3 fouls at the moment. 4:14 remaining, and the Sheffield Hatters lead 72-58.
You know, that's still a lot of time in the game, 4 minutes 14 to go. It's tough, but it's still a long time. Sheffield just needs to take care of the ball, take time off the clock, because time's on their side, they're in control. This is a comfortable lead for them, but as they've seen all throughout the game, you can't let the Mystics come back into it, because they will be able to chip away. Mystics just need to keep on with their tough D, and you'd expect maybe a couple of threes need to fall for them.
4:14 remaining, Hatters lead 72-58. Have the Mystics got a big run in them? They've had mini runs here and there throughout this game. They need a huge run in able to make this even more competitive than it already is. The biggest scoring run for the Mystics has been 7 unanswered points. They need more of that in the final 4 minutes. Richards, big three, back-to-back threes for Lisa Richards, coming alive in this 4th period. She now moves on to 22, leading all scorers.
And she's been huge this game. You can't leave her open on top of the key like that.
Niamh Kelshaw misses the layup, and I think a foot violation has been called. In fact, a foul has been called instead, and Sheffield get the ball back.
First personal, 4th team.
You see, the ball came off Harwood Bellis's foot, but a foul was adjudged before that. Voloritis into the game, nearly stripped it, and in fact, it's going to be a Manchester ball. Good defence there from Josephine Voloritis. Kelshaw driving. Nice footwork from Niamh Kelshaw. Garnet Gale wanted to travel. Cooney. Nice pass inside to Southwell, who collects and scores. Great pass from Steph Gandy. She now has 6 assists to go with 21 points and 8 rebounds.
I mean, you have 3 Hatters players on 20+ points, which is incredibly impressive.
Thrillful driving. Good defense there. I think that was Cooney getting her body in the way. As you see there, yeah, Sarah Cooney. Great defensive know-how there. Again, that court awareness that Sheffield have been using, especially in this 4th period.
And that comes down to experience as well. Such an experienced team.
As Lucy Graham checks into the game for the first time today for the Hatters. And here she is on the ball now. Cross-court pass to Southwell to Gandy. Richards hit 2 threes in this 4th period so far. Cooney inside, gets it, and a foul! That's a huge play from Sarah Cooney.
And that's why she's the D2 North Player of the Year.
22 points for Cooney, matching Lisa Richards' total.
She's got 13 rebounds and 7 assists.
And that's
a
4th foul on Rebecca Illingworth as well. So a 5th foul, on Illingworth. So she will play no further part in this game. Sarah Cooney to the line as the WBBL team break out in Hatters chants to our left. 79-60 to the Hatters.
Time out.
And a timeout has been called by the Mystics with 2:35 remaining. Mystics in foul trouble. They're in the penalty. Hatters still have 2 fouls to give. They also have a 19-point lead, 2:35 remaining with time on their side. Could this be a mountain too tall to climb for the Mystics?
It looks like, it's getting out of reach at the moment for the Mystics, but I think that they're going to come back on. They're just going to still play as strong and as hard as they can. There's no give up in this team. This team don't know how to give up. They're going to keep fighting, and we've seen crazier things happen, but it does look like Sheffield have a pretty comfortable lead at the moment, and they have done everything that they needed to do, and they've done it well. And it's that veteran experience that shows through.
Absolutely. We said at the top of the show it was the ultimate blend of youth against experience in this Division Two women's playoff final, and it looks like experience is going to get the job done over the youth. However, there's still a lot of time on the clock for Mystics to make probably one of the greatest comebacks in WNBL history, and there's been a few of them over the years, there's no doubt about that. But the Mystics have done so well to get to this dance, so well to get to this final. They finished 3rd in Division 2 North this season. It looks like one obstacle too many, but no doubt about it, they'll learn from this experience. They'll be back.
Absolutely, and this is their first season back in WNBL D2 as well. For a long time, this is the first time this group of players will have played together, and there's a lot to learn as well. They've done fantastic for their first season back as well, and especially taking down Stockport in the semi-finals. They're going to be really pleased with that. Obviously, they get to the final, they want to win, but there is a lot that they can take away from this.
Charlie Rowe makes the first foul shot. And one of those players that has such a bright future on your screen right now, as she makes both of them.
And you imagine that the next time these players are here, which they will be, they'll have that experience then. They'll know what it's like to play in a final like this, and they'll be able to use this. And we've seen that happen time and time again when players do that.
Southwell to Cooney. Cooney with the floater, and Yusuf collects the rebound. Big rebound there from Ruqayyat Yusuf. Valeritis looking for Yusuf, but just too high. As Ann Zammit nearly catches that, she's literally chilling on the bench right there.
She is.
No doubt she's not going to play any further part in this game, sitting on 4 fouls. She's done her part for the day, the great Ann Zammit. There she is. Here is Graham. Graham has all the time in the world, but decides not to put up the 3. Now she'll put up the 3, and it's long. It's almost like her teammates were urging her to shoot, as Valeritis has it. Rowe. Final 90 seconds of this Division 2 women's final. Yusuf inside, met by Gandy, and the ball goes out of bounds. It will stay with the Mystics, who lead 79-62.
Really interesting to see how Manchester used their bench as well. 16 bench points for Manchester, just 2 for Sheffield. Sheffield obviously with a shorter bench, but some more all-around scoring for the Mystics.
Rowe driving inside as the shot clock winds down. Shot clock violation, and right ahead of us, Steph Gandy yells out, running back to the court, running back to the Mystics side of the court. You can see, even her veteran leadership at 39, what this means to her.
Yeah, and a shot clock violation like that's a tough deal, getting pumped. She's a minute and 10 seconds away from claiming the title. That's a big move for them.
What a huge victory this is. A significant victory for the Hatters today. Final minutes of this game. Riches puts in 3. The exclamation point has most definitely been sealed here by the Hatters. Rowe from the foul line gets it to go.
And Charlie Rowe has just been fantastic all game. 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists and 4 steals. She's such an impressive player, and she has such a bright future. I'm really excited to see where her career takes her.
82-64 to the Hatters. Final 30 seconds. Gandy just about gets it to go. The celebrations are beginning on the Hatters bench in what you could say is the most significant victory of all of them in this playoff finals weekend. Sheffield Hatters playing just more for them, but more as well for the great Betty Codona, who is looking down on this Hatters team right now and has got to be so proud.
Absolutely, she would be, and those players, this means so much to those players as well, and the 24 seconds we have before to remember, it's such a great legacy that Betty's left.
30.1 seconds remaining. Hatters lead by 20, their biggest lead of the game. And for the Mystics, it's been a fantastic road to this final here in their own backyard, but just as said earlier, one obstacle too many. But definitely will leave with their heads held high on what has been a fantastic season for this young Mystics team, made up predominantly of under 18 and some 19-year-old players.
Absolutely, and as well, if we think about the talent that we saw in the Stockport team, this Division 2 is a tough league with a lot of quality and a lot of players, and I'd urge everyone to get down to their local team when the season picks back up next season.
Yeah, I was going to say next October, roughly. 3 on the way is no good from Tuck. There's Grace Tuck with a look of disgust on her face. Wide open 3, why not go for it? And final seconds are ticking by. Cooney to Riches. Everyone from the Mystics on their feet as Riches, who's hit 3 3-pointers in this fourth quarter. They're still playing to the buzzer, which is great to see. However, it's all academic because the Sheffield Hatters have won the WNBL Division Two Playoff Championship. Fantastic achievement for them. And you can see Anne Jamieson with tears on her face. Jess Southwell as well. This one it's so much more than just a playoff championship. This was for Betty Codona. Yeah, this is really, really going to mean a lot to the team, and you can see it. You can see it on their faces, and massive credit to them. They've worked hard all season, and what a performance they've put on today. What an absolute fantastic team performance from the Sheffield Hatters. As you can see there at centre court, the Hatters hands up in the air. That's got to be for Betty, who is looking down below or up above, and just a fantastic achievement for this Hatters team. What a fantastic organisation. Over 60 years of producing the best of women's players in the Sheffield and the South Yorkshire area. A fantastic achievement, but also a great achievement for the Manchester Mystics, who can hold their heads up high. It's been a great season for them.
We're getting set up and ready to go.
Everybody on there. Absolutely, yeah. She was 3 inches tall.
And we are going to go to Darren and Kaz, who are with Lisa Rich's. Lisa Rich's son not joining them in the end, but Lisa is with Darren.
It means so much. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional because obviously we've just done that game for Betty. All the girls there, I've played for Betty, so have a lot of the girls, but just winning that just shows us old girls can still do it. It means a lot.
And a real team performance as well. You were able to show your veteran leadership. A lot of you guys have been in places like this before. You know how to play. How does that help, having that experience with you?
I think just having that experience gives you that composure when it comes to the pressure, when it comes to them tough plays. The experience gives you the composure. It gives you the trust in your teammates that you know that they're going to do it for you. You've got each other's back.
Well, we'll let you get back to the celebrations. A massive congratulations, Lisa Richards.
Congratulations.
And the Sheffield Hatters. So we're going to throw it back over to John Hobbs just for the presentations, and then we're back to report Gaz Pollock to talk things over post-game. John.
Thank you, Darren. And just that's what it means to this Sheffield Hatters team. Lisa Richards fighting back tears. This is more than just a playoff final victory for the Hatters. This is for Betty Codona. But for the Manchester Mystics, it's been a fantastic run, a fantastic season. They can most certainly hold their heads up high on what has been a great season as they collect their runners-up medals. Charlie Rowe still smiling. She'll no doubt have many more of these final appearances under her belt.
Division 2 playoff runners-up. Let's hear it for the Manchester Mystics.
And a huge ovation for the Manchester Mystics, a team that defeated the West Hearts Warriors in the quarterfinals, and then that epic semi-final win over the Stockport Lapwings. Charlie Rowe had 22 points on that day. Becky Harwood-Bellis had 12. And Charlie Rowe, of course, leading England to a 3-0 record in the Four Nations tournament in Cardiff a couple of weeks ago. And Garnet Gow with some words of encouragement there for Charlie Rowe and indeed for Lucy Threlfall, as the Mystics in a sporting way go to the Hatters team. A fantastic show of sportsmanship and maturity from this very young Mystics team. As Becky Harwood-Bellis, who had 12 points overall, a fantastic showing from her. She started slow, however picked it up in the second quarter. And coach David Atkinson now shaking the hands of all the Hatters players, including Lisa Richards' kids, who are there with the Hatters. However, this is the Sheffield Hatters Day. As Jess Southwell, who's been a part of the Hatters team since she was 10, collects her winner's medal, and such a veteran team. A who's who of British basketball legends coming onto the floor to collect their winners' medals. This will be playoff title number 18 for the Hatters in the National Basketball League and the English Basketball League. Of course, there was a brief period where the NBL was called the English Basketball League. 3 players scoring 20 points or more: Sarah Cooney with 22, Steph Gandy with 23, Lisa Richards with 25. And this is, well, first of all, there will be the MVP.
One of 3 players in the Hatters team, some phenomenal stat lines, but it came down to one player taking this year's MVP with 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals, and 25 points. The number 12.
3 3-pointers in that fourth period as well. Lisa Richards, who fought back tears in the post-game interview, is all smiles now. Division 2 Women's Playoff Finals MVP. Congratulations, as Lisa Richards collects the Golden Wilson Ball. Congratulations to Lisa, a player who, as said earlier, retired just before London 2012, but came back to this Hatters organisation. She spent pretty much her entire career with the Hatters and is now MVP for this season. And Lisa Richards will come back and will receive the winner's plaque. There'll be plenty of playoff trophy lifts this season, there's no doubt about that. But this might just be the most important and vital trophy collection of them all. As Lisa Riches goes to her teammates.
Let's hear it one more time, your WNBL Division Two 2022.
As the entire Hatters organisation comes over to centre court. This one is for you, Betty.
Congratulations once again to the Hatters. Big shout out to Manchester Mystics crew as well. Well done, ladies. Let's get into day one, done and dusted in the books.
Playoff final number 2 in the books. A huge victory, an emotional victory for the Sheffield Hatters, defeating the Manchester Mystics.
Very shortly, the Manchester Magic and Team Solid Kestrels.
As we look to get one more, hopefully, of the Sheffield Hatters. And Caroline has Sarah Cooney, Division 2 North Player of the Year. And Sarah is with Darren and Kaz.
Yeah, thanks, John. Joined by Sarah Cooney, 22, 13 and 7. What an absolutely amazing individual performance from you, and a great team performance. What does today mean to you?
Today means everything to us. I mean, it's our first season back in Division 2, so a lot of us haven't played before this season, and it's been fantastic being back on the court with players that I've played with for years, like Katie and Lisa and Steph and Jimmy even. So it's been an amazing season, and then obviously getting to the playoff final, amazing. Obviously, sadly, we lost Betty only a few weeks ago, so today just meant everything to us because we really, really wanted to come out here, play hard and get that win for Betty, because we know she'd be wanting us to play hard. So it's been a great game.
And again, a real all-round team performance again, as it has been all season. Like, you've had a fantastic season this year. And how does it feel to be back in Division 2 and playing like this?
It's brilliant. I've really, really enjoyed the season, and like you say, it's been great being part of the team. I think you can see when we play that a number of us have played together for a really long time, and it's just like you said, like every game for us is a team performance. So some games one player will play well, in other games it'll be others, and all of us can step up at any point, you know, when we're needed to. So it's just an amazing team to be part of.
Sorry, me and John were just saying on the broadcast, you look over and you see it's just Sheffield legend after Sheffield legend on the bench. It's great to see the legacy that this team has.
Yeah, absolutely, and to be honest, that's all down to the legacy that Betty's created, and we all want to carry on playing, and we all want to keep doing that and bringing through the young talent as well as some of us older ones hanging in there, and keep on playing that way that we do for Betty.
Oh, massive congratulations on the game and on the season.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Go and celebrate.
So, Kaz, very quickly, what are your summary thoughts on today's game?
I mean, what a game that was, what a dominant performance from Sheffield as well. You see the veteran leadership, you see that experience, and that's what carried them through the line. Massive credit to Manchester, who didn't go away. They kept pulling back, they just couldn't quite get close enough, and they're a very young team, but that is something that will come with experience, as you see on that Sheffield team. They've got a very bright future, they've got some very exciting players, so they shouldn't be too disheartened by this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of chat today, a lot of buzz around Charlie Rowe, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists and 4 steals. I mean, what a bright future our kid's got.
Oh, she has. I get to see her pretty much every week down at the Wally Range Centre playing for the D2 Mystics. She is such an exciting player. She is really the future talent in this country as well. So definitely a player to keep an eye on.
And just final one from the Sheffield Hatters, of course, Steph Gandy, 23 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists.
What can't she do? What can't she do? She had 12 points in the first quarter. She's just as unstoppable now as she was back in her heyday, and it's so good to see.
Well, that's just about going to do it from Manchester here. The Mystics, they fell to the Sheffield Hatters. Massive congratulations to the Sheffield Hatters. They are the Division 2 Women's Champions. We'll see you later.